dating. So I'm going to pull it up and try to work on it. Once we get going and everything is settled, yeah, try to do that.
Good evening, good folks, and welcome to the City of Muskegon City Commission General Session for this Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. Before we get on with the meeting, I want to share that there are a few different public comment periods tonight. One is on agenda items towards the beginning of the meeting. We do have additional public hearings on specific items, and then we'll have a general public comment at the end of the meeting in which you can share your thoughts with the commission. During any of these public comment periods, it's a time for you to give your input directly to the commission, not a time for dialogue, back and forth, Q&A. We can arrange a separate time and place for that conversation to happen if so desired. We do have phone-in comments as well, so if you're not here in person but you're watching elsewhere, you can phone in during the public comment times. When we get to phone-in comments, there will be a number scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I'm going to give that number to you all now, 231-724-6721. Do not call right this moment, just have that at the ready for when we get to phone-in comments. If you are in person and wanting to give public comment, I encourage you to complete a comment form at the back of the room. Please provide your name and home address. Note I will not be sharing your home address, nor asking you to announce your home address. That's for our records. I will be acknowledging which neighborhood you may be joining us from if you're a City of Muskegon resident, and if you're not a city resident, which other township, village, or city you're joining us from. All right, we're going to get started. We don't have a faith leader to join us this evening to lead us in prayer, so we're going to get started with a moment of silence, and that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you wish to join us in either of those activities, I ask that you stand if you're so capable of doing so. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, may we have roll call, please?
Vice Mayor St. Clair. Here. Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Kilgo.
Here.
Commissioner Keener.
Here.
Commissioner German. Absent. Commissioner Gorman.
Here.
Commissioner Cochin.
Here.
Thank you. We're going to get on with honors, awards, and presentations. Under this, we have the HBCU Club that's going to be presenting to us tonight and give us an update. But also, I'm going to give opportunity for a member of the commission to give an update for us. And there is a special guest in the audience that I'm going to be welcoming up to share her concerns and thoughts about happenings in her neighborhood. And so first up, we're going to have the HBCU Club of Muskegon. Good evening and welcome. Will you kindly introduce yourselves?
Good evening to the mayor and the city commissioners. My name is Tara Carson from the city of Muskegon. I am the president and founder of the HBCU Club of Muskegon, where we provide program and career services to residents in the West Michigan area from grades 7 through college. Just want to give you an update. The city of Muskegon has been so gracious enough to award us a grant, and through this grant we are able to not only provide programs and services to our residents in Muskegon County, but we are able to give scholarships, we are able to do sponsorships for students to attend our annual college tours in May, and also to be able to bring guest speakers to come in and speak to our students in the community. So I have one of my club members that is here with me. She is a current student at Muskegon Muskegon Community College, and she will tell you her experience with the HBCU Club.
Hello, I'm Yadira Tinoco, 4 years with Miss Tara. She has been a very great mentor for me for the past 4 years, and I just want to help her, bring success to the city of Muskegon.
So as you can see, not only we work with students at the local community level, we work with students at the collegiate level as well. Since our inception, we have serviced over 250 students. We have sent over 100 students to various colleges, not only in the state of Michigan, but outside of the state of Michigan. We have graduated at least 75 students who have their bachelor's degrees. We have 5 students that currently have their master's degrees, and we currently have 2 students who are wrapping up their PhD program. So our goal is not only to make impact with the students in our community, but the goal is for those students to come back to Muskegon and transplant themselves and be able to give back to what was given to them. I thank you for your time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
That last part especially is music to our ears. We love that. And we really appreciate the work that you're doing and supporting our youth, broadening their experiences, introducing them to new opportunities, and also grateful that you took advantage of the opportunity of our community ARPA Community Grant Program, and put those resources to good work in our community. So thank you. I will open up to the commission if you have any questions or thoughts you wish to share. Yes, Commissioner Keener.
I just so appreciate HBCU and all that you do for this community, because you work a good 40-something hours a week and take your time out to take these kids. A lot of these kids have never even been to Lake Michigan before, and you give them the opportunity to see greater and bigger things. And I personally appreciate you just for what you're doing, being a mentor, and also as a friend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Keener. I go to Vice Mayor St. Clair.
Thanks. Miss Tara and I were band parents together quite a few years back, and I have really enjoyed watching you develop this program from a tiny little seed and grow it into something that is flourishing and really impacting the lives of the youth in this community. And I know quite a few of those youth that have gone on to college and are coming back here and being key parts of this community. And I just want to recognize that and thank you for all your hard work. It definitely shows.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor St. Clair. Go to Commissioner Cochin, then Commissioner Kilgo.
I could echo everyone's sentiments here. You guys are doing amazing work, and I really appreciate everything that you do and that the students are doing as well. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Commissioner Kilgo.
Ms. Tara, again, like the rest of the entire commission, I wanted to say thank you, but I've talked to some students who've been through the program, and to echo Vice Mayor, to be able to see young people in our community go off to college, see parts of the world, get a great education, but then on top of that, come back to our community and contribute has been amazing. So I love to continue to see this program thrive. Thank you.
You're here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening and updating us on the work that you're doing, and more importantly, thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, commissioners.
You take care. And
Thank
be well. All right, I'd like to welcome up Zoe, special guest from the Nelson neighborhood. Good evening and welcome.
Hello, thank you for your time. I've noticed our town actually has a littering issue, like from Nelson to 8th Street. Broken glass is basically everywhere. Also food and drink wrappers, I've noticed that a lot. Also plastic bags just kind of rolling around, which is really hurting ourselves as well as our community. And I also really like our city, so I feel like we should try to do some things that can actually help make a difference, like maybe picking up any trash we see on streets or sidewalks. Also, I feel like we should also and get community cleanups that involve the children, because if we involve the children, then they'll grow into caring adults. Also, I feel like I'm currently in talks with the Boys and Girls Club to organize such an event, and I'm really hoping that you guys would maybe help me raise money for this endeavor, so that we can all make our city just a tad bit better. Also, to end this, caring kids become, caring adults, and the children are the future of this community. So I feel like we should make a difference together. Anybody have any questions or statements?
Well, we really appreciate you joining us this evening.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for sharing your concerns and not only identifying problems that you're seeing in your area, but presenting potential solutions. And so I see you've got self-initiated and you're problem-solving oriented, and so I appreciate that you are motivated and so caring for our community. And you're right, caring kids become caring adults, and I know that you're going to be a very caring adult, and I so appreciate that you care so much as a kid. So thank you, Zoe, and hopefully we'll be able to have additional conversations outside of the commission chambers and see how we might be able to work together, and I appreciate you.
Anybody have any statements?
Commissioners, you want anything else to add or ask? Commissioner Keener.
If you would be so kind and contact me, I'd love to help you. I own a food truck, and even if it's collecting the kids together and we provide the hot dogs for you or whatever for free, you just let me know. But Commissioner Keener, you can contact me on the website where information is out there. I'll try to get a card to you before you leave.
Okay, thank you so much.
Commissioner Cochin.
Yes, thank you for coming up here and speaking in front of us. Public speaking is hard, and I think what you have to say is very important. I've got a little one, and we do cleanups together throughout the city, so we would love to join you sometime. And I'm Commissioner Cochin.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you again for joining us this evening, and I look forward to working with you for the betterment of your neighborhood and Muskegon overall.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you have a very nice evening.
Oh, you too.
Take care and be well, Zoe. All right, and then I'd like to hand the floor over to Commissioner Keener.
I get to speak a lot today, yay. I just want to say thank you all who have thought of me and kept me in your prayers. I have been gone for like 2 months, spent most of my summer in the hospital due to an ATV accident. I broke 7 ribs, fractured my vertebrae, then had to go back because it punctured my lung, had to take 3 liters of blood off my lung, and still have fluid on my lung. But just so you all know where I'm at, I just want you to know that my thoughts, I feel your thoughts, and I've been absent for a very good reason, This is my first time around people in like 2 months, so it feels good to be around people. And also, just a welcome back from me. There are cookies with the City of Muskegon at the back for you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Keener, and good to have you back. That's quite the ordeal you've been through, so I'm happy on the other side of it and recovering and well again. All right, we're going to move on to public hearings. First up, we have PA 210 Commercial Rehabilitation Certificate for 1700 Oak Avenue. Good evening and welcome. You kindly introduce yourself and report out on this item.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jocelyn Hines, Development Analyst for the City of Muskegon. So I am here to discuss the public hearing for our PA 210 Commercial Rehabilitation Certificate for Muskegon Central Park, which was formerly the General Hospital site. So we held a public hearing for a commercial rehabilitation district for this site on July 22nd. It was approved. The PA 210 allows the property to be frozen at the pre-improvement taxable value of the property. So a pretty substantial tax tax abatement incentive for the developers. As you also all recall, you all approved a brownfield plan amendment for this particular site on February 25th, 2025. So they are planning to, and they are currently in demo of the former general hospital site. It will be developed into 6 3-story multifamily buildings totaling about 144 dwelling units ranging from 1 to 3 bedrooms. And so the total cost of capital investment will be about $21 million, and it's expected to create approximately 100 construction jobs and generate 3 permanent jobs following completion. And so the recommendation is for a 10-year abatement for this project. And the developers and their representatives are here today to give you more details about the project.
Thank you, Annalise Hines. Before we hear from the developer or go to public comment, commissioners, do you have staff or do you have questions for staff? No? Do you have any questions for the developer at this time? No? All right. Seeing there's no questions from the commission right now, does the developer wish to share anything with us before we go to public hearing?
Mayor, Commissioners, thanks for hearing us. My name is Steve Calverley. I'm the CEO of Princeton Development, who's developing the site. And Kevin Kiefer back here is the Senior VP of Operations, who will be directly involved in overseeing the staff. And we're both owners in the company. So first of all, we're really excited to be contributing members to your business community. And Jocelyn mentioned the demolition is underway. We're expecting that to be completed within the next 30 days, and we're hoping to start construction directly after that. If you have questions, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Thank you. We appreciate you being here and more importantly, you investing in Muskegon. This item's been before us in a number of different capacities in the past, so I imagine we have some level of familiarity with it, and that's probably why we don't have any questions for you right this moment. But we are an inquisitive bunch, so some questions might pop up yet this evening. So thank you again for being here. Commissioners, do you have any questions right now for this gentleman? Otherwise, I'm going to go to open up to a public hearing for comments. So looks like no takers right now, but thank you again, sir. And I'm going to open up to the audience. Anyone in the audience wish to give comment as part of this public hearing, specifically pertaining to this item of issuing a commercial rehabilitation certificate for 1700 Oak Avenue? I don't see any takers in the audience. We're going to go to the phones. That number is 231-724-6721. This is an opportunity to call in for commenting specifically with regard to the issuance of a commercial rehabilitation certificate for 1700 Oak Avenue. Doesn't sound like we have any takers for phone and comments either. All right. Commissioners, I would entertain a motion.
I move to close the public hearing and approve the commercial rehabilitation certificate for 1700 Oak Avenue for a duration of 10 years and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Support.
All right. We have a motion by Commissioner Keener, supported by Commissioner Cochin. Before we go to vote, Commissioner Keener, do you have anything to ask or add at this time?
I am looking forward to this project.
Yeah.
Commissioner Cochin, anything to ask or add as the supporter of the motion?
The only thing I would say is that I know a lot of people are disappointed that this building is not being turned into a different hospital, but it's going to be housing, and I think that is a great use of that space. So I'm happy to see this coming into fruition.
Here, here. Commissioners, anything else to ask or add at this time? No? All right. Well, thank you again, gentlemen, for being here this evening. We are excited to see new housing, in much needed new housing in our community. So thank you for choosing to grow with Muskegon. Roll call, please.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Yes.
Commissioner Keener,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, next public hearing, PA 198, Industrial Facilities Tax Exemption, 701 West Laketon Avenue. Welcome back.
I'll be up here a lot. My name is Jocelyn Hines, Development Analyst for the City of Muskegon. So I am here to present a PA 198 Industrial Facilities exemption on July 22nd as well. You all held a public hearing to establish that property as a district. The PA 198 allows a 50% reduction on the real property improvements on that site. So if the address is familiar to you all, it was the former Great Lakes diecast site. So they are that has been parceled out. So they have a section of it. Molding Media of America is a new company that will be coming to Muskegon area. It's in partnership with SRS Fiberglass. Their current fiberglass supplier is going out of business, so in order to fill that need, they will be filling in that gap in the market. It's a 68,000 square foot facility, and it should serve industries around the area like automotive, commercial interiors, and HVAC systems. And it plans to make significant investments in equipment and hoping to establish about 50 high-paying jobs over the next 2 years in the area. Since this is a new company, as you all may recall, you all often see a summary sheet of their current workforce and then what they plan to do in the future. Since it is a new company, they signed an intent letter of what they plan, the workforce they plan to hire to match the demographic of the city when they do open. And then the recommendation is a 9-year abatement for this project that we're really excited to see a business on that site. And the owners of that company are here if there are any questions.
All right, thank you for that report, Analyst Hines. So this time I'm going to go to the public comment first, and then we'll take the motion and hear any questions or comments from the commission. And so is there anyone in the audience that wishes to give public comment with regard to this particular item of issuing an industrial facilities exemption for 701 West Laketon Avenue?
Oh, sorry.
Seeing no takers in the audience, we're going to go to the phones. Phone number is 231-724-6721. This is phone-in comments specifically with regard to the issuance of an industrial facilities exemption certificate for 701 West Laketon Avenue. Doesn't sound like we have any takers for phone-in comments for this public hearing. All right, commissioners, I would entertain a motion.
I move to close the public hearing and approve the issuance of an industrial facilities exemption certificate for a period of 9 years for the property located at 701 West Laketon Avenue, and to authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the application and the resolution.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Vice Mayor St. Clair, supported by Commissioner Cochin. Vice Mayor, anything to ask or add?
Yes, I am familiar with SRS Fiberglass from a variety of ways that my path has crossed them over the years. And if they follow the same practice with this new company, I think they will be good neighbors. They have a history of being good employers and providing good work to folks that are sometimes harder to employ and that have a harder time finding their way into the workforce. And I really appreciate that as someone who works in the field that I do. I see a lot of people struggling very hard to find jobs because of things that have happened in their past or difficulties that they have. And SRS has been a very good neighbor to the community in their willingness to help people be successful. So I'm looking forward to seeing them continue with that with a larger footprint and a new building that hopefully will not continue to be vacant. So I think this is a win-win.
You're here. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Commissioner Cochin? As the supporter of the motion, anything to ask or add at this time?
You know, I don't know if there's anything else that can be said for that. I think that this company, like I mentioned before, it's in my ward. There's going to be a lot of people who are very excited to see this opening up and will be applying. And like Vice Mayor said, it's an organization that does work with individuals who are harder to employ. So I think that this is going to be a win-win-win all the way around.
Thank you. Commissioners, anything else to ask or add at this time? No? All right. Yes, excited to see this facility being put back into productive use again and creating, I think, 50 new jobs is what I read with a good company. So I'm happy to see the investment and the new jobs being created. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Yes.
Commissioner Keener,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you choosing to continue growing with Muskegon. All right, next item is a public hearing for neighborhood enterprise zone certificates for 283 East Walton Avenue, 287 East Walton Avenue, 286 Myrtle Avenue, 294 Myrtle Avenue, 518 Oak Avenue, 450 Orchard Avenue, and 454 Orchard Avenue. Welcome back.
Good evening, Jocelyn Hines, Development Analyst here with the City of Muskegon. So I have stood before you all before for Neighborhood Enterprise Zone certificates. This is no different, just different property. So as you all know, the Neighborhood Enterprise Zone allows a reduction in property taxes to the essential homeowner of those properties. This is a request from RSW Holdings LLC and Borrowstone Capital LLC for the construction of single-family homes on those addresses that were just listed. The estimated construction cost for each home is about $157,000. And then the developer and the representatives are also here if there are any questions regarding the certificates for those listed addresses.
Thank you, Analyst Hines. This is a public hearing, so I'm going to open up to comments first, and then we'll take a motion and take any questions or comments from the commission at that time. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to give comment as part of this public hearing? All right, seeing no takers in the audience, we're going to go to the phones. That number is 231-724-6721. This is an opportunity to phone in your comments, specifically with regard to the issuance of neighborhood enterprise zone certificates for properties on Walton Avenue, Myrtle Avenue, and Oak Avenue, and Orchard Avenue. All right, no takers for phone-in comments as part of this public hearing. Commissioners, I would welcome a motion.
I move to close the public hearing and approve Neighborhood Enterprise Zone NEZ certificates for 15 years at 283 East Walton Avenue, 287 East Walton Avenue, 286 Myrtle Avenue, 294 Myrtle Avenue, 518 Oak Avenue, 450 Orchard Avenue, and 454 Orchard Avenue, and authorize the city clerk and mayor to sign the certificates and resolutions.
Support.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Cochin, supported by Commissioner Kilgo. Commissioner Cochin, do you have anything to ask or share at this time? All right, Commissioner Kilgo, anything to ask or share at this time?
Yeah, I would like to share, just letting the public know, who hear about these neighborhood enterprise zones, are thinking about building or rehabbing certain properties. We're continue to grow. Our staff here is excellent. The young ladies in Jake's department that are here, you can contact the city at any time to get more information about how you can apply for a neighborhood enterprise zone, your options about building in the city of Muskegon, because we encourage that here in the city of Muskegon. So I love to see it, and I would love to continue to see our building grow the way it is growing.
Here. Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Commissioners, anything else to ask or add at this time? No? Do either of the developers wish to share anything with the commission at this time? I know we've heard about this project in the past, but if you have anything to update us on,
No, we just really appreciate it. We're excited that
could
this.
you kindly introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Kara Novak. Thank you for having me today. I speak just on behalf of the project and the owners. This neighborhood enterprise zone is really unique, and it's really amazing that it's so prevalent here with the new builds. It allows that affordable housing for the new home owners, and so it just makes it obtainable. It makes the pre-qualification for the mortgage and the lending just that much more obtainable. So just thank you for having this as a program and encouraging the use of it. I try to share it with as many builders as I possibly can because you do very well at implementing that program and making it affordable for new home buyers. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate you joining us this evening. And also thanks to you and your development teams for working in Muskegon, investing in Muskegon, and choosing to grow with Muskegon. So, thank you. And thank you. All right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Keener,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Thank you. That concludes our public hearings. Do we have any federal, state, or county officials in the audience that wishes to update us? Nope. All right. We're going to move on to public comment on agenda items. I've got one form that's general comment that will be at the end. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to give comment on an agenda item? Okay, seeing no takers, we're going to go to the phones on this. This is phone in comment specifically to an agenda item and agenda items only right now. If you have comments for an agenda item, you can call in right now. That's 231-724-6721. You'll have up to 3 minutes to give remarks on the agenda items. Please turn down any audio in the background if you're calling in and state your name, and if you're a city resident, which neighborhood you're calling from, and if you're not a city resident, which other township, village, or city you may be calling from. Just to be sure.
Oh,
Oh, that's me. I'm just testing it.
Sure it's working. You got me.
All right. We have no takers for phone and comments on agenda items, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Commissioners, you've had an opportunity to review consent agenda items. Are there any that you wish to have removed for separate consideration and vote? Commissioner Keener.
I P
What's missing on?
I almost want to say QR and S, but I'll just stick with P. Can I just say, can I request all of those? Because my question it's just one question for all four.
That's not, because then we handle each item. If you have a question that's pertaining to all of them,
Just one, the same question for all,
okay, let's.
or comment.
Is the answer to your question going to impact your vote?
Yes.
Okay, then what I'm going to.
I just don't want to take up a lot of time, and it's just one comment that will impact my vote.
So it's
So
a
if I impact my vote, I need to.
It's a comment or a question?
It's
Because if it's just a comment,
it's
then
kind of
we can.
It's a question. It's a question.
Okay, because if it was just a comment, we could ask you to give comment on the overall consent agenda on that these particular items before we go to
Well,
vote.
can I give comment and then ask question if I have any questions?
Point of order. Mr. Mayor, if she would like to pull all four of them, just pull all four of them.
Okay, I'll
would
pull
be
all.
my
Well, yeah, no, I'm trying to be
recommendation.
expeditious here, though.
I
So,
understand.
thank you,
I
Commissioner
understand,
Kilgo.
but it is your right
Oh, it is
to pull
absolutely.
all four of them if you want to pull all four of
And
them.
I just don't want to take up a lot of time.
Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and do it.
So no. What I'm going to do, thank you, Commissioner Kilgo, for that input. What I'm going to do, because this is a consent agenda, I'm going to invite you right now to ask your question on this item, and get your answer, and then if you wish to have these items pulled separately,
Okay.
all 4 of them, you may do so.
Okay.
Because in the event that they don't need to, we can try to have a more expeditious meeting
Okay,
this
I
evening.
think that'll work for
So,
me.
before I go to you and ask you to present your questions, are there any outside of P,
Oh, that's
potentially QRS? There's anything else?
That's it.
Okay, Commissioner Cochin.
Yes, I had item K and M as in Mary.
And N, you said?
M as in Mary.
Oh, Mary. M as in Mary Cochin. Okay. Commissioners, any other items that you wish to have? No? All right. Before we go to vote on the consent agenda, I invite Commissioner Keener to ask her question with regard to item P and potentially QRS and T with regard to creating a new neighborhood enterprise zones at these addresses. Commissioner Keener.
Under the detailed summary and background, the third paragraph states that notice letters regarding the proposed district were sent to all affected taxing jurisdictions on June 10th, 2025, and a public hearing was held on July 8th, 2025. In accordance with the state law, the resolution establishing the district may not be adopted until at least 60 days after the notice letters were issued. I'm wondering if affected taxing jurisdiction can be clarified, because I'm a resident of this neighborhood, and if that includes me and my neighbors, none of us received a letter.
Doesn't include you
Okay.
individually, but Mr. Manager can weigh on what the taxing
Yeah.
jurisdictions are and who received
Yep.
notice.
So the taxing jurisdictions would be the city, the county, the school district, the library, entities of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and pull P, Q, R, and S then. Let's not do those.
Okay. So you
Alright.
want to
Yeah.
vote those separately. Okay.
No, we don't have to do.
Oh, you
them
don't
at
want to
all.
pull them.
Yeah, we
Leave
don't
them
have
on
to-
consent is
Yeah,
what you're saying.
usually we
Okay.
do on
So
consent. Yeah.
no longer pull P. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner
Thank
Keener.
you.
All right. If there are no other items for removal from the consent agenda, Commissioners, I would welcome a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented, minus items I, K, and M, as in Mary.
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Kilgo, supported by Commissioner Cochin. If there are no additional comments or questions on the consent agenda items, roll call, please.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Yes.
Commissioner Keener.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item I, amendment to the zoning ordinance for extending the hours of operation for marijuana retailers and provisioning centers. This is a second reading. Commissioner Keener.
Yes. I just want.
Motion,
Oh,
please.
my motion. Where is my motion? I move to approve the request to amend section 2331 of the zoning ordinance to allow marijuana retailers and provisioning centers with approved drive-through access to remain open for drive-through sales only between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m.
Support.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Keener, supported by Commissioner Kilgo. Commissioner Keener.
Yes, I know we went through this quite a bit, planning and zoning. I guess from you, because you have the better expertise, what is the purpose for having the hours extend from 12 to 2?
Sure. First, I'm Mike Franzek. I'm the planning director. This was a private request. This was not staff initiated. So this came from a private business, the Grassy Knoll. They had put forward a couple other requests similar to this nature over the past couple years that were denied. They decided to work with an attorney that was a little better at writing the language, and they're just trying to extend their hours of operation to get the later crowd, and they were trying to get like second and third shift people. So they had initially requested 24 hours, but they thought that was a little too much of an ask. So their idea was now to allow sales from midnight to 2 a.m. if you have an approved drive-through.
In your in your expertise, is this something that you believe that the city of Muskegon can handle well? And I don't know, well, we do have an officer here. And as far as safety goes, is this something that may potentially be an issue with individuals? Because a lot of times, I see people quite often, they go and get their product and sometimes start smoking as soon as they're smoking or chewing as soon as they are leaving the vicinity. And so I'm wondering if that could impact car accidents, especially with that facility being right off the highway. I guess those are my biggest concerns, and those are the concerns I've kept.
I'm not sure I would be able to answer safety question on whether, people are using it in the car when they're not supposed to be. We do allow drive-throughs now, so that's something we've already allowed. This would just be allowing it for 2 extra hours. I believe the reason to go to the drive-through, I believe the applicant was thinking for safety, so that we're not keeping the store hours open longer. It would just be the drive-through access. And there's other industries that are open late, usually fast food, that use drive-through. I don't think we tend to see a lot of incidents with that, so.
Am I able to talk to?
You have a question for the applicant?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear from the applicant. Thank you, Director Franzik. If the applicant would step forward and introduce yourself, please.
Good evening. My name is Janet Tombray, and I'm one of the owners of the Grassy Knoll. And I welcome your question.
Welcome.
Thank you. So will this increase your revenue and potential employment?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
By how much?
I don't know the exact amount, but at least 15%, I believe. Our employees are excited to work more hours. I know we do have people who are denied buying our product when 12 o'clock hits. So our employees tell us all the time that they see at least 5 to 10 cars go through, realize that we're closed, and then have to leave. So I do believe this would help the employment plus the taxes that the city would get as well.
Okay. That's all. That's the only question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Keener. Before you go anywhere, Ms. Tombray,
yeah.
I'm going to go to the supporter of the motion, Commissioner Kilgo, if he has anything to ask or add of yourself or Director Franzik.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you for being here again. I don't have a question as much as I thought about our vote, after we made our vote, but I knew that it would come back because we didn't have a full unanimous vote on this. But to me, I guess just like a liquor store owner can't help who may consume their product and, get behind the wheel of a vehicle. Correct. Same for the use of your products that you sell at your facility. I am, and I kind of brought it up last night at the end of our work session. I am concerned with overall distracted driving, impaired driving here in the city of Muskegon. That does not fall on you, though. I think having it through a drive-through is keeping it safe, keeping your employees safe. I do hope that the Muskegon Police Department and our other municipalities, because you're kind of on the border of a few municipalities there, close, that our law enforcement officers continue to enforce and that they're on duty enforcing safe driving all the time, not just between 12 and 2, but all the time.
Correct.
But thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo. Commissioners, anything else to ask or add at this time? All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Tombray, for being here this night and
I appreciate it.
Answering questions. Thank you. All right. Well, I continue to support this request. I think the thing that stood out for me, because this request for extended hours had come before us a couple different times before, and I didn't support it at that time. But the thing that stood out for me is that it did better fit with our zoning ordinance as shared by our zoning administrator and better aligned with the ordinance itself. And the other key piece for me is that it was connected to the special use permit. that we have 3 operations that have a drive-through right now, have a special use permit. 2 of which are in an industrial park, one's in a commercial district, and so they're areas that I don't see as being potentially problematic or a nuisance to the neighborhoods, surrounding neighborhoods, and that when requests come to the planning commission going forward, because it's the planning commission alone that will decide who gets permitted for drive-throughs. And so when that comes to the planning commission will have a level of control, so to speak, to take into account concerns that if there are requests for these operations to be in more heavily residential or neighborhood areas, that it wouldn't be appropriate necessarily to have a drive-through until 2 a.m. So that there's still opportunity for that. And also if there are nuisances or public safety or health concerns, that the planning commission could attach those conditions and create opportunities for revocation of the permit if problems do present themselves. So I just wanted to share that before we go to vote. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo?
Yes.
Commissioner Keener?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, resolution for Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund Acquisition Grant Application. Commissioner Cochin.
I authorize staff to apply for the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund acquisition grant for the expansion of Hartshorn Park for a grant amount of $908,200, subject to appraisal.
Support.
All right, motion by Commissioner Cochin, supported by Vice Mayor St. Clair. Good evening, sir. If you kindly introduce yourself and please report out on this item.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. I am Kyle Krachewski, Director of Parks and Recreation. And so what we have here is an application, and it's technically an out-of-cycle land acquisition grant from the DNR for us to apply for a purchase of a parcel that would expand Hartshorn Park and boat ramp. So the current value of the property is listed at $1.2 million. So it would be $908,000 the DNR would pay for, and with the rest of the money being committed by the seller as a donation. So it wouldn't be any funds that are spent by the city. And what this parcel would include, there's a picture, if we could scroll down, but just to put it, just to describe it, it is the drive behind Furcano's, to the side of it, and then a part of the parking lot back there. Oops, sorry, a little bit further down if you could.
Next picture.
Keep going, don't show a high.
Sorry, okay.
Yeah. Yep, so it's highlighted in yellow. Also that bike path, regional bike path is very popular, so we would be able to take control of that. And we have had conversations with the DNR, and they support it and encourage us to apply. They think it's a good way to save waterfront for our residents and visitors of our parks, and just a good way, seems like kind of a nice way to expand a park and get more lakefront public access. Yeah, any questions or
Something we've definitely been hearing a lot about from our community.
We have.
So, thank you, Director. Commissioner Cochin.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Director Kurakarski, because I think that it's really important that we have public access, and seeing this expansion got me really excited. I do have some specific questions. One being, we currently have a agreement with Adelaide Point for the use of that launch ramp area. Can you expand upon how that agreement would be maybe changed, or how it would continue if we purchased this land?
Yeah, this is the very early stages of just applying for it. So we haven't, those aren't discussions we have. Really, we don't, as of right now, we don't have a whole lot of plans to make large changes. It's, the application, it's a pretty long process for us. So, there will be a point in this, the DNR requires public input. So there will be sessions where we engage the community on what we do. But as of right now, we're not really in the planning stages. We're just in the let us apply stage.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
I think Mr. Manager has something to
Yeah,
chime in
I
on.
was basically just echo what the director said. I wouldn't anticipate this changing anything with the shared use agreement. That's related more to the Adelaide Point agreement, so I wouldn't see this necessarily changing anything.
My next question would be in regards to the drive off of Fricano's there that goes to Western. And this kind of is in the same vein, so you might not have an answer, but do we know what the plan with that drive is? Would we be closing that drive down? Would we be looking to utilize that drive in a different manner?
I'm gonna go to Mr. Manager on this. He recently did a video updating on how that driveway is being used.
So, as I noted in my report last week, it has always been the intent that this driveway was temporary and not to be the permanent solution. And I wouldn't see this changing that either.
Okay.
And just to expound on that, it is being used for exit only of trailer traffic. We, as a commission, had put a condition on the PUD for driveway access, and so it is still accessible for exiting trailer traffic presently. And so, just to echo the manager, I don't see that necessarily changing, but that was done with public safety and improved traffic flow in mind, because we had heard from some residents, including members of our Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee, on that matter. So, Commissioner Cochin.
Okay, thank you. And then the last thing is, great job finding a grant that's not going to cost us any money. I really applaud you for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochin. Vice Mayor St. Clair, as the supporter of the motion, you have anything to ask her out at this time?
So just to clarify, this is a request from you to apply for a grant
Correct.
with the DNR so that we would be able to purchase this property. It's not an agreement to purchase it. This is the very beginning of a process that may or may not culminate in us owning this piece of property.
Yes, ma'am.
And at the end of it, if they give us the green light, it will cost us no dollars other than the staff time, which is not nothing, to fill out this fairly lengthy application process.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying lengthy, but yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor St. Clair. As I understand it, because this is this kind of the second step of our process, because we first applied for the opportunity to apply for the grant.
Yes.
We were given the green light to apply for the grant.
Yes.
And you've gotten positive feedback from the state that they would be receptive to our formal grant application and request.
Yes, correct.
So that's reassuring. And thank you for you and your team's work on this grant application thus far, and thank you to the commissioners for supporting moving this forward. This is something that I had brought to our Legislative Policy Committee meeting in the past to pursue a time-sensitive land acquisition grant for this to expand Hartshorn Park and our waterfront public properties. So thank you for supporting this in the past, and go to Commissioner Kilgo before we go to vote.
Thank you. Director, who owns Hartshorn Marina?
Ryan Leedsma.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The city owns Hartshorn Marina.
Yeah.
The city, correct?
Definitely the city of Muskegon.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was looking at the map and yeah.
Thank you.
You were thinking the property that we're trying to acquire now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who owns the parking lot?
The parking lot of Hartshorn,
The parking lot of Hartshorn.
the city of Muskegon.
Thank you. Who owns the bike path? Because I see you do have the bike path yellowed on here, as
Yes.
in it would be part of the purchase if we got the grant.
Correct.
Do we not own the bike path?
That is correct.
Okay. So we have an easement for the bike path. Okay. Do you happen to know, if you don't, I can follow up with the manager at a later time, if the appraisal for the property comes in lower than what the seller is currently asking, have we talked to the seller about if he would sell it for, I'm sorry, you said a number earlier, 1.5, 1.2?
1.2.
Okay, so he's asking 1.2. If it is appraised at 800,000, have we talked to the seller about if he would sell it for that lower price, any lower price, if it appraises under his asking price?
We have not.
Okay. And then I think that's all. I think it'll be great if we can acquire this without having to use public funds. Just be able to use the grant. I fear that if this comes in under appraisal, because I believe there are 2 already built and a 3rd house there that's being built.
Correct.
Okay, so there will be 3 houses or so there. The 2 owners that were there have talked to the city. They said they would be okay with a park there. We haven't talked to the 3rd one because it's not built yet, but let's say that all 3 of those owners are like, yeah, great, that'd be fine, we'll have a park there. I don't want the city to overpay for the parcel, even though it's grant money. I want us to definitely have fair market value or under for the parcel, because it's not, a nice clean piece of property that we need to spend extra money on. But I do thank you for your work with this grant, and hopefully we'll see how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kogo. To clarify, make sure we're all understanding that the Hartshorn Village, where the houses are being built, is not included in this. At one point, we talked about that being included. That is not included with this application, and so the expectation is that that will still be available for new housing to be developed over there east of that driveway. And then to give some explanation, because to my knowledge, that is the only section of the Lakeshore Trail within the city of Muskegon that is not owned by the city of Muskegon. And that came about as part of the sale of city property. This was probably a decade ago now. Yeah.
Pretty close.
It was probably
8 years ago.
Yeah. 8-9 years ago, because Commissioner Warren was on the commission at the time. So the property was sold to Smith Equities as part of accommodating the development of Hartshorn Village, and so that trail was sold to them, inclusive of that, with the expectation the trail would be moved north and closer to the water. You can see a section was moved. That development didn't pan out as expected. Also, the city decided to change tact with regard to the parking lot at Hartshorn Launch Ramp, because that parking area where we have the trailer parking right now, that trailer parking under that previous agreement, nearly a decade ago, was envisioning that trailer parking area would just become grassy area, and that the trail would go through there, but there would not be parking anymore. But I remember in 2022, when it came to light, and we realized, wait, we don't want to do that. We don't want to get rid of, that trailer parking there. And so the city did not continue its pursuit of the Eagle permit to allow that to be changed into, just grassy area and redone and the like. And so we've been retaining that parking area instead of moving the trail into that area. But the trail is still publicly accessible and part of our regional trail system. And so, but it would be nice to get back into our ownership. With regard to valuation, the state, as part of the grant application process, the state does require 2 appraisals. Right. And you have to use state-approved appraisers to do the appraisals. That will determine ultimately determine the price in which the state will provide potential grant funding for. Mr. Manager, you have something to?
Yeah, and to add to that, to maybe give some other context to your question, Commissioner Kogo, the property owner, the seller, is aware that there's a state appraisal process. Okay. So, but to the director's point, yeah, we haven't had the discussion on.
Yeah. What happens? Oh, and you did ask, because I remember you sharing that the state told you we don't have to have like a definitive, purchase price and all that nailed out to apply. That could come subsequently. We just had to have a willingness to sell, and it being listed for sale demonstrates that. All right. Commissioners, any other questions or comments at this time before we go to roll call? No? All right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cochin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo?
Yes.
Commissioner Keener?
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item, M as in Mary, fleet vehicle replacements. Commissioner Cochin.
I move to authorize staff to purchase fleet replacement vehicles for a total of $557,013 from Berger Chevrolet and Gorno Ford.
Support.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cochin, supported by Vice Mayor St. Clair. Good evening, sir. If you kindly introduce yourself and please report out on this item.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Dan Vanderhyde, Director of Public Works. This is an item to purchase, as it says, several vehicles to replace aging equipment in the Public Works fleet. We have an equipment fund that owns all the equipment that DPW uses. That fund is the one listed on your cover sheet there, and that fund charges rent to the folks who use these vehicles and then replaces them when they come due. These vehicles are due, so there's a picture associated with this item if you're interested in exactly what we're purchasing. But it is 4 police Tahoes. It is, or excuse me, 3, right?
4.
4 police Tahoes, sorry about that. An F-150 and 4 small dump trucks, which we use a whole bunch of different stuff. So that's what's included here.
Thank you, Director Vanderhyde. Commissioner Commissioner Cochin is the maker of the motion.
Yeah, so I am familiar with vehicles that get beat up. I have done a lot of trail work and took some time to talk to some city staff about how they like their vehicles. And I think that this is something that needs to be done. So I definitely support it. But I do want to ask one question. And I think you might have already answered it, but just to be sure. So with all of the vehicles, including the Ford F-450 dump trucks, do those get sent back then after we're done with them? Or do we sell them off?
Yes, if to the extent that there's any life left in them, we definitely auction them off, and any funds that are captured back go into that equipment fund to help defray the cost of future purchases. Yep.
Okay, excellent. I know everybody's looking forward to new vehicles, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochin. Vice Mayor St. Clair is the supporter of the motion. Anything to ask her at?
I noticed, I think it was on Sunday, which struck me because it was Sunday and, a city truck driving by my house that was exceedingly rusty. And is this going to replace that truck?
So I'm not sure if this will replace specifically that truck. I will say that often the vehicles that you see on the weekends are what we call part of our seasonal fleet. Those are vehicles that we use in the summer months only to help move folks who are doing trash pickup and leaf pickup, mowing, and things like that occur just in those 4 months or so in the summer season. So some of those vehicles are a little rougher than others, no doubt. And certainly the vehicles that these are replacing, if they're valuable, then those will be passed on down. And so it's very possible that any trucks that are looking really rough will benefit from this as well.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, anything else to ask or add this time? No? All right. Thank you, Director Vanderhyde. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo?
Yes.
Commissioner Keener?
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That concludes our consent agenda, or items pulled from the consent agenda. We're going to move on to new business, and that's designation of voting delegates for the Michigan Municipal League Annual Business Meeting. Entertain a motion.
I move to
We got to figure out who you're going to be appointing.
Right.
So typically it's been the mayor and the city clerk, the city clerk as the backup. Madam Clerk, you're going to be at the MML convention?
Yes, Mayor.
All right. On the off chance that I'm not going to be there, because you're going, Vice Mayor St. Clair, right?
Yes.
I plan on being there, but I'm not sure if my schedule will allow me to be there the whole time. And so on the off chance I'm not able to be there, I would ask Vice Mayor St. Clair, if you would be willing to serve as the official representative, and Madam Clerk, you serve as the alternate representative, unless another commissioner who's going to be in attendance would like to be the alternate.
I'll be there, but
I'd be happy to be the alternate.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
So Vice Mayor St. Clair as the official representative, and Commissioner Kilgo as the alternate representative for attendance and casting vote in the municipality, vote of our municipality at the annual business meeting. So I would welcome a motion to reflect that.
a motion to have Vice Mayor Sinclair as the official representative and Commissioner, who said they were?
Kilgo.
Oh, Kilgo, Commissioner Kilgo as an alternative representative to be in attendance and to cast a vote of the municipality at the annual business meeting of the Michigan Municipal League Convention.
Support?
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Keener, supported by Commissioner Cochin. Is there any discussion or questions?
I'm happy
No?
to do it.
All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kilgo,
Yes.
Commissioner Keener,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cochin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor St. Clair.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Well, that concludes our new business. We're moving on to any other business. Got a few different things to share. One of which is a congratulations and appreciation to our city clerk's office for running the election last Tuesday. And not only the election last Tuesday, but the early voting. And we were unique among municipalities in having the early voting. And I really appreciate the emphasis our clerk's office has on being accessible and responsive to voters. And I know that, even when we get absentee ballots that come in that are missing their signature on the envelope or it doesn't match up, that our clerk's office routinely goes above and beyond to contact the voter, sometimes even knocking on their door to get that resolved, to make sure that their vote counts.
30-some doors this time, yes.
30-some doors this time. So it is very much appreciated, the great work that you do, Madam Clerk, and your team in the clerk's office
Definitely a
do.
team effort.
So,
Thank you.
thank you. Also, I want to I don't see her here with us, but I want to give appreciation as well as congrats to our community police coordinator, Emily Morgenstern, for her work in organizing the National Night Out at Marshfield. And I know that was also a team effort. There were a lot of members in other departments, chiefly from public safety, that facilitated and attended and participated in that and welcomed hundreds, if not thousands, of neighbors from across our city to that event last Tuesday. And so,
More than 1,000.
more than 1,000,
Yeah,
more
that
than
was
1,000
we did the
neighbors
placer
attended.
reports. Yeah, just a little over.
So that's wonderful. Really, it was great to see neighbors from across the city coming together, and I appreciate public safety for the work on that, particularly our community police coordinator Morgenstern, and everyone else who had a hand in that, and our neighborhoods, for coming together and organizing that. So it was lovely to see. The other thing that I want to bring up is with regard to, and Commissioner Gilgo addressed this last night at the end of the meeting, which is with regard to distracted and dangerous driving in our city. And not just in our city, but throughout greater Muskegon. If you're driving around, it's not just happening in the city of Muskegon, it's happening in neighboring municipalities as well. And we've seen it, I've seen it, in terms of people driving recklessly, speeding, zooming in and out of traffic, on phones, not paying attention, just dangerous, erratic driving. And that is an issue that I've heard across our city with regard to speeding as well. It's one of the most common things that I hear across our city is excessive speeding. And I know I've had a number of conversations, I'm sure our commissioners have had a number of conversations with the city manager as well as public safety on this topic. And so I wanted to, invite public safety and our manager to weigh in on this in terms of what we do for enforcement, how they handle concerns that do come in with regard to dangerous driving or excessive speeding. I know we've been working on this quite a bit in the NIMS neighborhood for that section of Lakeshore Drive, and have taken steps to help mitigate the excessive speeding on that stretch of Lakeshore Drive through NIMS. And there's a tool too that I want to broach with the commission and put on your radar for potentially funding in the future that could help us with enforcement in a perhaps more effective and efficient manner. Because when it comes down to enforcement, and it's interesting, I don't think I've ever heard our community clamor for law enforcement to the extent that we do with regard to traffic enforcement. In years past, we're like, stop ticketing us, leave us alone. But I hear time and time again folks wanting stepped up traffic enforcement. And so I want to broach this now. There have been numerous accidents, not just in the city of Muskegon, but surrounding Muskegon in recent weeks. Some due to just excessive speeding, some due to impaired driving, some due to just dangerous and erratic, not paying attention. That's caused a number of accidents and some very tragic outcomes with those accidents. And so, Mr. Manager, would you like to weigh in on this item for us?
We also have Captain Zonabelt here from the police department. He might be able to give a little bit more ground level context for exactly how enforcement works. But in general, as part of any shift that an officer is on, they do look for traffic infractions when they're not responding to 911 calls. A lot of what our officers do on a daily basis, when you look at the reporting, is responding to 911 calls that we have. Because of our current staffing level, that takes up the lion's share of our officers' time. We do enforcement activities for driving enforcement when we have specialty programs through the state that oftentimes bring in extra dollars for overtime, and that will be specifically focused on things like distracted driving, which is sort of a broad term. Could be a number of different things, from texting and driving being on your phone, not being safe behind the wheel for whatever reason, speeding, seatbelts, things like that. So we do look for the ability to take advantage of that anytime that we do that, and then that is picked up through overtime by our officers. That again is covered by the state, and they're generally specific areas that those areas would focus on. Apple Avenue is one of those areas. Lakeshore Drive is one of those areas. Laketon is one of those areas. I'm sure Captain Zonabelt could enumerate other ones as well. Where isn't necessarily as important as the fact that we do it. We also have traffic data, traffic reports that we look at for speed studies to understand where we do have instances of speeding. I think that's the tool you're talking about, I believe. Correct?
I think so.
Okay.
We started getting
Sure.
some data from it,
Yes.
but we don't have the
Yes.
access to all of the data.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there is a tool that Chief Kozel observed at his Chiefs Conference sometime in the past couple of months. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was a really interesting piece of information that gives up-to-date information on what the actual traffic speeds are within a stretch of road based on what the actual posted speed limit is. The way that information is gathered is through your cell phone, and that's information that folks, whether you realize it or not, opt into. So your cell phone is tracking you. Your cell phone does allow us to gather that information. It's very similar to the data that you would see if you use Waze. That will show you where there's traffic on your route, or if you use Google Maps, that will show you where there's traffic on your route. This is another layer of that similar data that actually looks at the speed, so then that can help to determine if there's specific areas of the city where we are seeing speeding that's above a certain percentile of the average speed on that posted area. Mm-hmm. So that, to your point, it would help us maybe target a little bit more on where we have the ability and the flexibility to do targeted enforcement, where that could be, because as I noted at the beginning, the lion's share of our officers' time is spent responding to those 911 calls and providing those services to our residents throughout the city. And we also have other tools that we at our disposal that are a little more passive, but also seem to have a positive impact. The speed trailers, when those go out, people do see those. They have the ability to be moved around rather easily, and we do see possibly some correlation between traffic or between speeding or speeds, I should say, and where the trailers are. As you noted, in the NIMS neighborhood, we deployed 2 signs, speed signs as a test. That seems to be working. Those do have a cost to them, and looking at different areas of the city that we can deploy those as well. We've identified, I believe, the next area when we're able to purchase more of those. I think Marquette, east of Getty, is an area that we've looked at for deploying those as well. So it is something that we do have discussions about. It's something that we look with all the different demands that we have on our public safety team, how we can make sure that we're meeting all of those needs as well as where the request from the public is.
Excellent. Thank you for those insights, Mr. Manager. And our Public Safety Director, Kozel, did attend our Neighborhood Associations of Muskegon meeting last Wednesday and shared information about traffic enforcement and just general law enforcement. And he did point out, as Mr. Manager noted, that a lot of it comes down to capacity and capacity constraints, and that we as a police department are understaffed right now. Not because we're not budgeting for the officers, it's just emblematic of nationwide, that there's the pool of officers is not keeping up with the demand that we have across the country. And so municipalities are fighting, competing amongst one another to attract and retain officers. And so Chief Kozel shared with NAM that our focus, as Mr. Manager noted, is on responding to 911 calls as quickly as possible. And our neighbors understood and appreciated that that is the priority, that when you call 911, you have a need, it's typically urgent, you're typically not in your best state, and you want assistance, and you want it there, and you want it as quickly and effectively as possible. And so that's where our resources are being prioritized. And what I heard from our neighbors was that is welcomed and that is appreciated. But we certainly, at the same time, would welcome how can we expand our capacity so that we can look at other opportunities for enforcement. And so I just want to plug that right now, because it's still open, right, for new recruits?
No, it is not.
The new recruits just ended. Okay, well, I'm not going to plug that. But keep an eye out, because we do that,
I'm sure
I think,
we'll be posting again
multiple times a year. But if you know anyone who wants to get into law enforcement, we are continuously hiring. We both are recruiting new recruits, no law enforcement experience, as well as certified police officers. And so we just completed a couple rounds of hiring in both those regards. But with regard to new recruits, we were able to secure grant funding to pay for someone out of high school, or otherwise, I think minimum is high school diploma in order to go to the academy. And so with this grant funding, we'll pay for you to go to the police academy, pay you a stipend while you're in the police academy, and then if you graduate and are successful, essentially have an opportunity to work for the Muskegon Police Department once you're out of the academy. And so if you know anyone who might be interested in a career in law enforcement, please have them reach out to Muskegon Police Department. That opportunity right now just closed for pursuing that, but confident that that opportunity will be available again in the future. So please reach out to the Muskegon Police Department to be informed of those opportunities as they present themselves. Now, you had something?
Yeah, I was going to say on the lateral is, we're still posting for laterals, right? Yeah. So if you're
certified.
if you're a certified current police officer, we still have job postings available for that to do lateral transfers. We do have availability there.
Okay.
To your
so
point,
that is open still. We're still hiring and continuously hiring for certified police officers.
Yes. in the and to your point about the budget, we actually, the police department budget on a staffing perspective came in under budget because of the fact that we have those open positions in the fiscal year that just ended. Good for the overall budget, not good for some of our objectives. So
Indeed. The tool that was mentioned, and Chief Kozo shared that with our neighbors at NAM last week as well. The thing that I found appealing with this is that it gives you essentially real-time data on speeding or the speed of traffic everywhere in the city at one time. So rather than us paying because we've asked for, can we get those fixed signs? Can we get more trailers? Because people want to see more of that, and they may still play a role. And I think we're only at 2 trailers still. We were looking at
2
trying
trailers
to potentially
and
acquire more, but still at 2 trailers for the speed traffic signs. And having this service of being able to provide real-time traffic speeds across the city then enables us to be more effective and efficient, in my mind, applying heat mapping, so to speak. Where are we seeing the worst instances of this, what times of day, and the like, so that we can more judiciously deploy our limited resources to respond to that and have a bigger effect, hopefully. The thing, too, that I would like to advocate for, if there's opportunity, whether it's through the city manager meeting with other administrators or with our police department and police chief and engaging other law enforcement chiefs in the area, if we can have coordinated, targeted enforcement, because again, this issue is not just in the city of Muskegon, it is throughout Muskegon County and afar. Like, for whatever reason, I noticed this coming out of the pandemic. People were just speeding and driving, recklessly, and it has not gone back to the norm. Pre-pandemic, it's continued, and in some regards, it feels like it's getting worse. And so, I think it's important that on the other side of the enforcement equation is each of us just being able to lead by example and drive safely, drive courteously, obey traffic laws, and try to shift that culture in Muskegon that we are being more cognizant drivers and also yield to pedestrians. Which is another thing we've advocated for, is trying to get some of those crosswalks with the push button when you want to cross and get activated, so it alerts any drivers that you're trying to cross. And there was one particular area that we talked about at our last Legislative Policy Committee meeting, which was near Charles Hackley Middle School on Peck. Sanford and Peck, yes, on Peck. Right as when they get out, because I observed in May before school let out how bad it was, traffic-wise going through there, people not stopping for the students getting out, people not even slowing down, some people not slowing down. I did see some people stop, but there was far too many people that weren't slowing down and weren't stopping to let our students cross, and it was creating a dangerous situation. So, to put a pin in my remarks on this, the thing I want the commission to consider is that service that we've talked about with being able to provide real-time traffic data comes at a bill of $22,000 for the year. And so I'd like us to consider that. We don't have to discuss that now, but I'd like to put this on our radar in terms of being able to access that. But that's the number that was shared at NAM. Perhaps you and Chief Kozo can examine that and maybe bring something in the future for our consideration on that, if it is sensible to pursue.
So I guess, so that is within my spending authority. And generally what we do with contracts like that is manager will authorize it if it's under the 25,000 for the first year as a test run to see how it works. And then if we determine to use it on the long term, bring it back as a contract for multi-year. Director Vanderheid has also been talking with Chief Kozel about how Public Works can use it. There are public work components to it as well. So there could be the ability to maybe spread it out through a couple different funds and it wouldn't all be coming out of the general fund. I know that the chief and the director have been having those conversations. We've not been able to, as a group, talk about that as well. But we,
Okay.
but,
So
but,
some
but
of you all are actively
Yes,
pursuing that,
yes.
and I like the way you're thinking about being able to spread it around.
Yeah.
Different buckets of funds and yeah. So thank you for sharing that, Mr. Manager. And Commissioner Kyogo.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in on your topic. As a former sheriff's deputy, I want to give a shout out to our police department. Muskegon Police Department is an excellent department compared to some other departments around the state. But if we were to spend money on this traffic that calculates metadata, shows us where people's speeding, I know that cops don't like to write tickets. Writing tickets sucks. You got to turn it in. You got to show up at court. You got to do a bunch of stuff. So, like, Chief's gone today, so we can have a conversation at a later date with Chief Kozel. But would we have those, like you said, Mr. Mayor, coordinated, targeted enforcements? And then, if we did, ticketing generates revenue. Ticketing also generates awareness where people are like, the police are out, slow down, and people will stop speeding. I remember we talked about speeding when we talked about certain streets that are getting smaller, and I talked about enforcing speed. Road dieting, sure, but we have to enforce. We have to enforce in different times and areas. Our police, again, are excellent, but we all also see when they're idle. They're not answering 911 calls 24/7. And yes, I definitely will encourage people to step up to the plate and be brave and become a police officer here in the city of Muskegon. Those men and women go to work every day for us to protect us, and so I don't want to make it seem like I'm bashing our police department. I just think that we need to enforce our policies that we have in the city for things like speeding, especially if we see that it's become a problem in our city. So I would love to see if we could get that technology, and then that technology can show us, hey, here's where we may be having some issues, and then we can coordinate it well enough to fix those issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kyogo. Commissioner Cochin.
So I also wanted to bring this up tonight, and you guys beat me to it, but having talked to several neighbors and hearing from businesses in the Lakeside area, we know that that's a problem. Like you said, after the pandemic, it continued. And so, as Commissioner Kilgo mentioned, enforcement, I think, is key. We need to make sure that we have enforcement. I think if we invest in this system and utilize it, we're still going to need officers to write the tickets. We're still going to need speed signs to help remind people also. And when I was driving to Grand Rapids the other day, I saw a billboard reminding people to yield to pedestrians. We've got lots of billboards. We could dedicate one of those to that for a month or so. I think there's a lot of different solutions to this problem, but it all boils down to enforcement. So I think that is important. And also, when I say that, I just want to put a little asterisk next to that, and that it's not, I am dead set against our citizens. I'm not trying to attack our citizens. I'm just trying to remind everyone to be safe. Watch out for us, our kids, our families, our businesses.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochin. Yes, you had
I had
something
other
else?
things too, sorry.
Something else under any other business or on the same
Yes,
topic?
under any other business.
Oh, I want to put a pin in this first. Any other comments or questions with regard to the topic of driver's safety? Vice Mayor St. Clair?
Just that another side effect of enforcement is people who use navigation systems like Google Maps and Waze. That will tell you when there is a speed trap or a stopped car for a police, and that also slows people down because there's more information out there. So the more enforcement we see, the slower people will go, because there are a lot of tools that we don't have to employ that already exist.
That's one of the things I find appealing with this service too, is that we can test different, tactics and concepts and see is it having an effect on driver behaviors and traffic speeds. Captain Zenevelt, I know you're in the back. You don't have to get up and share anything with us, but you are here, and I want to give you the opportunity to address the commission and to weigh in or ask anything of us if you have.
Captain Zonabel, Muskegon Police Department, obviously. I think what the city manager said was fairly accurate. We participate in the Office of Highway Safety Planning grant periods. One was in July, which was supposed to be for Lakeshore Drive. It's posted overtime due to staffing and the amount of events that we have in the summer. Nobody signed up. And for our morale and for the general well-being of our officers, we don't force for that type of events. When they do sign up, OHSP is very strict on what we have to do. We have to make a certain amount of stops an hour. I think we need to have a discussion, it's probably a broader discussion outside of this room about what enforcement is. I can't, as a captain or as a police department, mandate that my officers write tickets. It's a quote is illegal, so I can't take away the discretion from a police officer. Hey, you need to go write a ticket. I can't do that. I can tell them they need to go make traffic stops. That's no problem, which we do. The bigger issue is the staffing. Our shifts are at the minimum. 911 calls are the priority right now. We do have the ability, we have a crime activity and traffic team, which we do utilize throughout the city, and we rely on the data-driven DDAX. We look at where the traffic crashes are, where the issues are, where crime is, and that's where we target our enforcement. In terms of Lakeshore Drive, there's been, since today, roughly 60 citations that we've issued in the last year there. Roughly 10 of those are for speeding, probably 15 or 20 were for cell phone use, which is pretty much almost every other driver these days. So the new program, I've seen it. It's amazing where they get the data, how they get the data, and what it shows you, because it's live time. It would be beneficial, especially for grant periods where we could direct traffic to and where we can direct our crime activity team. But we're trying our best. We can't be everywhere in the city. I feel the pain of the residents and the issues that they see and the crashes that we see, because we have a lot of them, unfortunately, and it's not just the city of Muskegon, it's the county of Muskegon, it's Michigan, and it is all over the nation, the bad drivers that we have. So any help that you can give us, we would definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate you being here this evening, and more importantly, we appreciate the work that you and everyone with Muskegon Police Department do every single day.
Thank you.
In service to our community and protecting.
Our next recruit posting should be going up November, middle of November probably. And our lateral posting is ongoing, so we'll take you.
It'll be continuous.
Continuous. Thank you.
Continuous. Well, thank you so much. All right. Commissioner Cochin, other items.
Yes. On to more exciting things, I guess. The first thing I wanted to mention was to thank the city recognize my aunt for her work and dedication to the city of Muskegon. We have held her memorial service this past Saturday, and she loved this city and she loved working for the Parks Department. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and let you know about actual fun things that are coming up. There's the Lakeside Street Performers that'll be in town on Thursday at 6 p.m. And then Touch the Trucks is coming up the following week. And my phone has timed out. I believe it's the 22nd? 21st?
I know it's coming up, but 21st.
The 21st at 6 p.m. at Hackley Park. And then we're going to have the very first gaming convention coming to Muskegon, which is really exciting. And that's going to be on Labor Day weekend down there at the convention center. And the Milwaukee Clipper, which is a hidden gem in Lakeside, and I want to see continue to thrive, is having their Labor Day party on Labor Day at 6 p.m. And just also a shout out to Captain Bob because he turned 103 and came out in the 92-degree heat the other day.
He's a trooper.
He is.
Thank you, Commissioner Cochin. Mr. Manager.
So while we were in the meeting, looks like Fish and Wildlife sent out a notification that they're going to be doing some dye testing on the river and tributaries starting today and through August 21st. Specifically from August 14th to 17th, there could be dye that would make parts of the river or tributary creeks where they're putting it in appear pink or red.
So heads up.
Yeah, so heads up. This looks primarily to be upstream in the east and northeast part of the county, but obviously does travel down to the Muskegon River. So it is being permitted by the state, and it is through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and it's a sea lamprey control program initiative. So if you see red in the creeks or the river, that is why.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. And also just wanted to share that underway right now is our tree audit and inventory. And so you may see vehicles and people in neon vests going around putting ropes around trees, and they got a clipboard or a digital board inputting data. And so they're going to be coming on to terraces all across the city because they're inventorying every public tree. So the focus is on our parks, cemeteries, and the terraces around town. And so that's the Davy Resource Group. So that's the vehicles, and there'll be people in neon vests. Saw one today outside of the hub measuring the tree. So they are there working on behalf of the city. We were able to obtain grant funding to do that inventory to help us with better management of our public trees. So anything else, commissioners, before we go to general public comment? Nope. All right. We're at general public comment now, and I've got one form submitted. So there's still time. If you want to give public comment, you can complete a form at the back of the room. But first up, we have Mark Flamoen joining us from the NIMS neighborhood. Welcome, sir. You have up to 3 minutes to provide your remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Kilgo, for your comments last night. They're appreciated. I'm not placing blame on anyone, but we need to, as a community, and I mean the whole community, do a better job when driving and enforcing or educating the violators to follow the law. We have a lot of great employees in the city that, if guided properly, can do amazing things. We have a huge problem in our community, and it's called poor driving. I would like to thank Director Dan for his efforts for things that have been implemented by the DPW, including Lakeshore Drive residential area has been painted a no passing zone. How fast you are going signs in our neighborhood, and crosswalk signs throughout the city. The only problem is people are now passing on Lakeshore Drive at high rates of speed. They now know how fast they're going on Lakeshore Drive, but they don't know that they're going over the speed limit because those particular signs do not tell people they're speeding. They just tell them their speed. And very few people, including city workers, slow down or stop at crosswalks for people. In Lakeside, because of the speed of traffic on Lakeshore Drive, bicycles, e-bikes, and gas-powered bikes continually, daily, ride on the sidewalks, creating another danger to the walkable community that we've created down there. I will not tell you anything I have not seen with my own eyes, nor will I make anything up to make me sound better. Everyone in this room can help by teaching by example. Police officers going over the speed limit by 10 miles an hour in a group of other cars is giving them permission to speed. So if I'm going next to a cop and he's speeding, that's okay for me too. Police officers sitting, doing their paperwork in plain sight along roads and not pulling people over that are speeding because they're not looking for that, they're looking for paperwork getting done. That's telling people it's okay to speed. Safe Bill. I've watched many of them go by, reading on their phones, reading on their paperwork as they're driving. And I could give you their names if you want. Park employee 2 Saturdays ago doing 45 and a 30 on his way to do some park work on a Friday. That's not a good example. So as a community, we can start to fix the problem without spending a dime. We also need to get fully staffed in our police department so the laws on the books can be enforced to educate poor drivers that their behavior is not going to be accepted.
Thank you, Mr. Flamoan. Appreciate you joining us this evening.
And I could tell you a lot more, but please fix it so we don't have to say goodbye to anyone else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to give public comment at this time? We're going to go to the phones. That's 231-724-6721. This is general public comment. You can share your perspective and input directly with the City Commission. It is not a time for Q&A or back and forth dialogue or engagement. We can arrange a separate time for that to happen. If you're calling in, please turn down any audio in the background and share your name. And you do not need to share your home address, but if you are a City of Muskegon resident, which neighborhood you're calling from, and if you're not a city resident, which other township, village, or city you might be calling from. Bless you. It does not sound like we have any callers. Commissioners, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, motion by Commissioner Kilgo, supported by Commissioner Cochin. All in favor of adjourning, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you. Take care. Be well.